Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to a peek at the new season of Indie Game Friday, a series where I give playtime to and review games released by independent developers, small studios, or by smaller publishers. This upcoming season I'm going to try something new and focus on a more review-oriented approach. It will start properly sometime in February 2016, but I'd like to get some feedback on the new format before then. This week, let's take a look at a game called Dungeon Souls, developed by Mike Studios and published by Black Shell Media. Some of you may know the publisher as the outfit behind Sanctuary RPG, and a quick look of their catalog will reveal all number of quirky titles that look to be a lot of fun. Is Dungeon Souls one of them? Before I go too far, I should state that I was provided a review code for this game by Black Shell Media. I'd like to thank them for allowing me this opportunity. And now, onto the game itself. Dungeon Souls is in early access on Steam, currently at build beta 2.0, and while that means that purchasers will be getting an unfinished product, there's still a fair amount of product already. Dungeon Souls is an action roguelike dungeon crawler that invites comparisons to a number of other games. I have heard it compared favorably with Nuclear Throne, although I haven't actually played that game. The latter does seem to be of a faster pacing. This one, while similar, focused more on slow, methodical gameplay. My own playthrough brought to mind elements of Risk of Rain, and that's not a bad thing. I really enjoyed that game. The music is nice. It can be somewhat repetitive. I can only hope they add a couple tracks before the end of the release. Sound effects are fitting without being overbearing. Graphically, I'd like to say the game sets itself apart from similar medieval fantasy roguelikes, and it does. I don't know if I can wrap my head around the glowy particle effects, though. They remind me of bullet hell shooters, and this game has a lot in common with those. If you like those, you'll probably enjoy this game. Somehow I just can't help but think, though, that it looks like somebody ate a bag of glow sticks and gummy bears and then threw up the resulting multicolored luminescence onto the screen. It's a minor gripe overall, in the great scheme of things. I think it distracts from the actual enemies on the screen, and that actually may be part of the reason it's there. In terms of gameplay, the game is straightforward fairly. WASD to move, left click to fire or swing your weapon in the direction indicated. Those and all the other commands, the inventory screens, character level up, etc. can be remapped in the options. Sadly, there's no controller support as of this build, and that's a damn shame because this game is the kind that just screams for controller support. I would really love to use my Xbox controller with this. There's some obviously missing sections, which I presume will be added later, as indicated by the big label not working yet when you go into the level up screen using the tab key. There's some unintuitive interface decisions. For example, there's secondary skills which can be used with the right mouse button and toggled between with Q and E. But you can't actually use them until you put a rank in them, and it's not entirely clear how to put a rank in them. Apparently, you click on the arrow up icons in the lower left-hand portion of the screen. When you mouse over them, it'll tell you which skill you're ranking up, and you can select from there. There you go. I just told you it took me like 40 minutes to look up. Once you get over those basic interface nitpicks, though, the game itself is very solid, and it's challenging without being totally unfair. I can only presume that players with faster reflexes than I will find the game a little bit easier, but there are difficulty levels which can be set. There are many classes, most of which need to be unlocked through different events, though those events are not entirely too difficult to engineer. All of them seem to play a little bit differently and have different skill sets. Further, there seems to be some sort of rank up system where the individual classes gain rank as you play them. I'm not entirely sure what it entails, whether it's be difficulty or the power of the class. I presume that there are secret levels as well, because I believe that I found one. I clicked on a bookcase and got to a completely different area with a different boss. Between the multiple classes, the roguelike design, the ranking up, there is a lot of replay value already built into this game. I can understand that there may be plans for multiplayer support in the future. I imagine that would make it even more worthwhile experience. I mean, I can just 2 or 3 players going through this sort of randomly generated dungeon would be a lot of fun. Don't know for sure about that, though I've seen a lot of posts regarding that it is an expected feature. The game itself does seem to have a few bugs. It crashed once on me, but aside from that, I didn't really notice any game-breaking issues. It seems to be in a much more solid state than many early access games. There is one thing to mention, though, and that is it seems from reviewing forum posts that the rate of updates has slowed somewhat recently. Like when it first came out, there were updates every week or so. Now it's down to every couple of months. That's not unusual for some indie games, but I can only hope that they continue with them. There's all indications that they will continue to update. But if you're looking for a finished product right off the bat, that is something to consider. If you're the sort that wants to wait to get the full experience, as it were, that is something to take into effect. The price tag on Steam is currently $9.99, dropped to $4.99 until January 4th, 2016, as part of a holiday sale. Whether a solidly built fantasy-themed shooter like this, a shooter roguelike, whether it's worth that much for you is completely up to you to decide, of course. But as for me, I have to admit that I've had a lot better experience with this game than many games which I paid far more for. I haven't worked out a formal rating system yet, but I would definitely recommend giving this game a shot if your budget allows and you're into this sort of thing. I intend to come back to this game myself and do a follow-up when it does finally leave early access. And you can expect to see that on my channel. I will give links to the game in the description below. And as always, this has been the RPG Crawler with Indie Game Friday. If you like what you've seen, remember to like, comment, and especially leave comments on the new format because I want to see if this is a better direction. And subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.